Dun 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 Shows World.
Welcome to Shows World Gamers, Josh here, and it is once again that time of the week. That's right, as this week draws to a close, I wanted to take a moment to look at a few of the biggest video game news stories that we got this week. We're also going to look at some of the biggest video game announcements that took place this last week, and of course, we will check out the biggest video game releases you're not going to want to miss. But do me a quick favor, if this is your first time on the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and join in on the fun. Alright gamers, let's kick off this week in review with a few news stories. And we are going to start with, well, something that happened on last Friday. That's right, the weekend kicked off early. It kicked off with the 2025 Summer Games Fest opening night gaming showcase, which was loaded with around 60 games, some upcoming, some updates to games like an awesome look at the Liza P. Overture DLC, which was actually shadow dropped. It's available right now. You can go pick that up. Now, we also got updates on upcoming games like Sonic Racing Crossroads and some world premieres we will be talking about later in this video, including the future of Resident Evil. Now, Microsoft also clocked in with their gaming showcase this week, where we got to look at 32 upcoming projects, and this showcase was jam-packed with a bunch of cool-looking games, with some of my favorite announcements being High on Life 2 coming this winter, DLC coming to my 2024 Game of the Year, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, titled Order of the Giants, coming September 4th. We got our first look at the Call of Duty Black Ops 7 in a cinematic to close out the show. Now, overall, I really liked the showcase, although the lack of any info about past announced games like Perfect Dark, Fable, and Gears of War E-Day was, well, a little disappointing. Also during the Xbox showcase, we did get a hardware announcement, as even though we did find out recently that Microsoft has put their first-party upcoming Xbox handheld on hold as they concentrate on getting a version of Windows better suited for such devices developed, we did get the official announcement of the ROG Ally X, a portable PC-style console with an Xbox button and Xbox-inspired controls, releasing this holiday, and the long-awaited Hollow Knight Silksong will be releasing alongside the console. Now, Splatoon is coming to the Nintendo Switch 2, as an announcement trailer from Nintendo did unveil upgrades to Splatoon 3 for the Nintendo Switch 2, but that's not all. We also received the announcement of Splatoon Raiders, the first ever spin-off title in the Splatoon universe. The game has you playing as a mechanic who explores the mysterious Spiralite, I think that's what it is, islands, alongside Splatoon 3's Deep Cut trio, Fry, Shiver, and Big Man. No release date has been announced at this time, but we're definitely going to keep our eyes on this. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, we also got huge news from Nintendo as they did officially announce sales figures for the first 4 days of the Nintendo Switch 2, and the console will, in just those 4 days, surpassed 3.5 million units sold, making it the fastest selling console ever at launch. In comparison, the Switch 1 shipped, not sold, but shipped 2.7 million in a month. The PlayStation 4 sold 2.1 million in about 15 days, and the PlayStation 5, which was the previous fastest console, well, it sold 3.4 million in 1 month. Now, there has been reports coming out that many retailers received and sold through restocks of the Nintendo Switch 2 this week. The console is off to a great start, and in a few weeks, we should get updated numbers from Nintendo to see just how impressive this first month ends up being. Alright gamers, let's look at some gaming announcements. And the biggest game announcements from the Summer Games Fest was the unveiling of the next mainline Resident Evil game titled Resident Evil Requiem. That's right, Resident Evil 9 closed out the show and is officially on its way, and it does continue kind of the departure from the style of the early games into the more atmospheric cinematic style of the last two games, although it does apparently allow both first-person and third-person gameplay, as well as the location does show a return to Raccoon City. And to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the franchise, the game is scheduled to release on February 27th of 2026. And I'm kind of hoping we do go a little bit more back towards those original gameplay styles, but it looks cinematic, but I guess we'll have to wait and see on this one. We haven't seen much of it, but it's definitely a game I'm going to be playing when it does release. Now, High on Life 2 was announced at the Xbox Gaming Showcase for the Xbox Series systems, PC, PlayStation 5, and will be a day one release on Game Pass when it releases this winter. Now, I absolutely love the first game, which plays like a first-person traversal shooter straight out of an episode of Rick and Morty, with foul-mouthed talking, weapons, and all the adult humor the show is known for, and I'm definitely going to be playing this one too. I had a blast with the first game, and hey, this just looks like more fun. We even got skateboarding in it, so we'll be playing this. Now, Resonance, A Plague's Tale Legacy was announced for the Xbox Series systems, PC, and PlayStation 5. It isn't releasing until 2026. Now, the game is a prequel to the awesome A Plague's Tale games, expanding on the story of Sophia from the first game. The fierce young plunderer will journey to the Minotaur's Island, outsmart deadly foes, unravel ancient secrets, and confront a mythical creature at the heart of a devastating curse. Now, Super Meat Boy 3D takes the ultra-hard punishing platformer to a whole new dimension as the popular 2D game now moves to a 3D platformer. If you're a fan of punishing platformers with extremely challenging gameplay, this is definitely the game for you. I enjoyed the original game and will definitely be checking out this title when it releases on the Xbox Series systems, PlayStation 5, and PC early next year. I'm hoping we get a Switch 2 version, but that has not been announced just yet. Now, Planet of Lana 2, Children of the Leaf also received an announcement trailer during the Xbox Showcase. The game is a cinematic puzzle adventure game where you play as a young boy on a hostile planet traveling with a strange alien creature. Now, I absolutely love the first game and did a complete playthrough here on the channel, and this game is said to double the scale and narrative depth of its predecessor. The game is scheduled for a 2026 release for Xbox One, Xbox Series systems, PC, and it will also be a day one release on Game Pass, and this is another one that we're definitely going to be checking out. Alright, let's finish up with this week's new video game releases. And we're going to start with Mind's Eye. The game was released this week on the PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox Series systems. The game is a single-player, futuristic, story-driven thriller action-adventure game that, well, it looks absolutely amazing. The game looks super promising. Now, unfortunately, some recent reports have come out that, well, previews of the game were rough, as the game did not appear to be ready for release. So I would tread with care. I'm kind of feeling some Cyberpunk 2077 release vibes here. Hopefully the game can, or maybe already has, fixed said issues, although reviews have been a little rough. I would definitely look into this before I picked it up, but this game has a ton of potential. Hopefully they can get it figured out, because this could end up being a hit, and hey, maybe it does do that Cyberpunk 2077 thing where, you know, if you just wait a little while, you get a fantastic game. Now, Final Fantasy XVI was an absolute masterpiece in the long-running role-playing game series, with the biggest, most insane battles the series has to offer. The game has fantastic characters and a story that keeps you engaged to the very end. This is still one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 5, and this week during the Xbox Showcase, it was shadow dropped digitally for the Xbox Series systems. The game ditches the traditional turn-based combat, instead introducing an action RPG gameplay style to the series, and I thought it worked really well. I really enjoyed this game. If you're an Xbox gamer who never played it on PlayStation, go pick this up. You're going to have an absolute blast. Now, The Alters also released this week on the PlayStation 5, PC, and Xbox Series systems. The game is a single-player, third-person, sci-fi action-adventure survival game where you take on the role of Jan Dolsky, a lone survivor of a crash landing on a hostile planet. To survive, you must use a local substance called rapidium to create alternate versions of yourself called alters, each with a unique personality and background shaped by past decisions. Alright gamers, that concludes this week in review for the week ending on June 13th. The week started with us getting our first look at Resident Evil 9. As the game continues to evolve away from the classic survival horror style it helped birth, but hey, there are some signs that maybe it's going to be a little more like the past games. As we did see Raccoon City, there is going to be a third-person option. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Then we continued having a blast racing through the newest Mario Kart game, which delivers the most frantic, fun gameplay the series has to offer. And the week ended with us anticipating the first big post-launch Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, which many believe will take place this month. Although the Splatoon news has kind of soured those beliefs for some, I expect multiple Directs by the end of July, with hopefully a main Direct, and I do definitely expect to see a partner Direct and maybe an indie Direct also. But let me know anything we may have missed in the comments, and thanks for joining us today, gamers. Shoach World, out.